very briefly going to present to the company before Dave going to settle down. Morning, Dave. And very briefly, so Aeroviro is based in California, a global leader in unmanned aircraft systems, tactical missile systems, electric vehicle charging, and test systems. It serves militaries, government agencies, businesses, and consumers. Aeroviro provides customers with more actionable intelligence so they can proceed with certainty. For the further demonstration, discussion, and presentation, I will be happy to present you Mr. Davis Henriksson. Once again, hi.
Yes, thank you again. Welcome back. We had a nice windy, blustery, cold, every weather day yesterday. We're going to do a demonstration in two parts. We'll do one this morning and then we'll do one this afternoon. So first off, we're going to start with our land combat systems. A Raven small UAV, which is used at infantry, company, and below or around the world. And then we're going to also show a new technology, which is a team or squad level nano UAV called Snipe. The winds are kind of kicking out here, so we're going to see how we do, but it's a pretty exciting technology. Out in front of our crew out there, you'll see a flight team. One is the Raven. Raven is derived to do a range of 10 kilometers and fly for a period of 60 to 90 minutes based on the payload and the conditions. It has a nice fully articulated gimbal with the day and night cameras on there. And it also has a laser illuminator, and that allows you to light up darkened spaces that can be seen with I-squared devices like night vision goggles. So it's a very infantry-centric kit and made to survive in the roughest conditions. I think we have about 2 million combat hours on Raven in between Iraq and Afghanistan. Well populated throughout the U.S. military and all really around Europe. If you see the ground control station, the camera should be looking at them outside. The ground control station is a tripod stack with the modular components all go into a dry bag. The operators set that up with no tools, and they put the bird together out of another dry bag. They pop it together, they do a quick pre-flight, and they can launch. We don't have our feed going into the magic monster screen, so what we've made happen was we've put the video on this small screen right out front, and they're putting eyes on that. So we'll watch the crew run through its pre-flight and launch. They just basically, put it into the wind. They've got full mapping underneath for data that they're going to guide it. It has GPS navigation. What they're able to do is drop waypoints. They can orbit any target. And with a gimbal, you can offset orbit. You don't have to loiter a target.
Just right before they're going to launch the drone, how many men do you need to operate this drone? I see 2. Is it a maximum, or do you need additional men?
Typical is 2-man because you have a vehicle operator, someone's on the controls, and then you have a mission operator. And he's on the laptop, which has Falcon View mission planning, and then our small UAV toolbar with all the mission management software. It can be run with a 1-man operation as well. They're both trained to do both functions.
Okay, and how long does it take to train a man to control the drone?
Yes, sir. An untrained operator, any average Joe, can be trained on this, and it's usually 2 weeks in English. And if there's language compatibility, we usually allow more time for that in there. The pre-flight is, if you notice that they're checking full physical characteristics, they've checked all the cameras, they're checking to see that the air data sensing and all the flight controls are working because it's an aircraft.
So right before they're going to launch, can you give a very brief, characteristics? What's the weight? How far it can fly? What's the height? What's the basic, information everyone needs to know?
Yes, sir. You're really good. So Raven is light. It's made to run the soldier, so it has to be carried on his back and be worthwhile. It's a 4.2-pound bird. The gimbal's a little bit heavier, so about 4.5 pounds, and a wingspan is 4 feet. Yep.
The team is ready to go, I see.
We're doing a calibration on it has mag compass as well as GPS to back that up, and a full guidance. You can't make this thing ditch. It has a full governors. Launching is as simple as that. Push it into the wind.
Piece of cake, I would say.
It's at a high, it's at a high 100% power and it goes out, so it makes more noise. But as soon as it gets to airspeed, cruise, it'll drop into a cruise power. It gets much quieter. Our crew should be taking a look around at some targets close in, give you an idea of its visual perspective. And then they will also push out downrange and look at some of those targets down there as well.
So can you set automatically the road, the path that drone can fly? Or do you need to control always 24/7?
Excellent question. It has full auto nav capability. I can put waypoints in there and tell it to fly, and even automatic home if I lose comms with it. Lost link protocols are very, very well established. It has positive command links so that no one else can steal control of it. I can even fly without GPS. But I've also got the ability at any time to exert manual control and input and make changes. I think he's looking downrange at our target set out there. What he'll also do is at certain points he'll switch over to the IR camera, and it has a ability to go both white hot and black hot IR. There you go. I think he is in IR right now, and you see a vehicle that he's got there. Looks like it's now showing in white hot, because the targets are cold soaked out there, so they actually show that they're colder. If he brings it down and look at a hot vehicle and engine, we'll be able to see that clearly.
And what we see in the screen is 240, 260, 80, so that's the height, right?
Yeah, okay. That's essential information for managing the information, where the bird is, how it's operating, its health, and then also targeting on the bottom is where that center field of view target coordinate is, its range and bearing from the bird, so you have an observer's point of reference for battle handoff and targeting. While that's flying, I think we have a good conditions. We're going to go ahead and move over to our nano UAV Snipe.
Okay, now we're going to see the other drone, and please pay attention to the screen. You're going to show us probably here inside the engagement area, or?
I'll show you a little bit. We'll do an inside-outside. How's that? So small UAV is done at that scale, Raven, and their smaller ones will show you this afternoon, even subset. But at a nano scale is in the pocket, in the backpack. It's relatively expendable small UAV for small teams is something we call Snipe, which is a very inquisitive and very difficult to detect bird if you've ever been on a snipe hunt. It is made to be a folding format. The box we have outside is a lighter one. This is a hard pack. And the operator only has to extend the booms. They go to hold fast detents. And he inserts a battery if there's not one in there. It's a rechargeable battery, lithium ion, so I can carry multiple batteries, at least 2 in the pack. So I've got 2 mission iterations. That gives me a total of 30 minutes, 15 minutes on each. The only control he has on that is a side push pin, which is his says on button. Okay. When he does that, and the operator out front will be doing this right now, he activates the bird, it runs its full bit check, it finds GPS, and it also inventories itself and reports into the ground control station. Now, if you look outside at Chris, our operator, is putting us into effect, the ground control station is a mini tablet. We put it has touch sensitive interface. And it also has the ability to do manual controls for close operations and steering. So it's augmented.
Honestly, it looks very small. What's the weight? What's inside? I'm just impressed how you fit everything there inside.
Yeah, it's a miracle of modern technology. Well, if the camera can come in, this has a whole host of features. And Chris is holding it up, and he's getting it GPS. He just launched it. I'll cut back to him if he has that, but all he had to do is it inventories, it finds it, he selects the bird, he set a pop-up height. I think he set it probably about 5 meters, if I'm guessing, and it sits there and waits for commands. So he's checking it out, and then he can tell it to do just about anything. It self-stabilizes. He can put GPS coordinates in there and drive it around or he can steer it. It does on the front side have both day and night cameras. Day camera, which is about just a 1.2 megapixel,
That's good.
and a 160 by 120 infrared camera.
It's day or night?
Day or night. Interestingly, IRs work in the daytime too. So these hot objects like bodies are something that people were looking for, and that's what it's all about. What we've done also on the tablet is we've had the ability to blend this imagery because there's always some available light. So the EO and the IR are blended, and so sometimes your IR images can be pretty fuzzy. And what this will do is hard edge those targets to give you a better sense of the target definition. All right, let's go look at the screen right now. And he is in IR, and he's got that blended imagery going on, so you can see some hard edging on that tent, which you probably could not see without it. He's looking at the tactical vehicle right there, and you can see that there's some heated objects from the crew compartment. They got the heat running inside, they're smart, and they've got an engine running. The gun system on top is nice and cold, you can tell that. Chris could maybe shift over to Black Hot and show the difference as well. Now what you're seeing on that screen is the RVT mode. So at that position, they're just monitoring that information. I can tell because my control buttons are grayed out. I don't have control of that bird from that station. It's actually sitting on the table right out front, and he's monitoring the feed. So I can have supporting units, one operating the system, another just getting the feeds so that he can inform their maneuver.
So it's very comfortable. You can set a drone, observe the territory, and you can join even a combat mission as well.
Terrific. Yes. So one of those nice things is there's a lot of data in there. It's running. You've got full video, HD video being recorded. You can do HD image downloads. What you see on the screen is a reduced format FMV. On the back of the screen, interesting, it's got a nice kind of Martian antennas there, and that is a diversity antenna for oversampling of our digital data link. Even this little tiny snipe has AES 256-bit encryption with frequency hopping in range to protect the signal from interlopers and jammers, but it also enables a lot of data to be fed through that same signal as well as the video. The antenna on the back of it is our digital data link, the same as using a pocket-worn soldier RVT, called a pocket RVT, and it is compatible with our other systems. The delta we've done with Snipe is that we pushed it down into a more efficient domain for frequency in the UHF, which is better in ground clutter, trees, buildings, where you've got to operate this system close to your target.
So speaking about this small, lovely drone, how long does it take to train a person to control that?
Oh, college education, 6 years in medical. No, it's none of that. It is a one-day training. Yeah, we're required to have an 8-hour training block. We found after about 4 to 6 hours, the operators are ready to go fly. It's with full training. And we just give them some mission iterations so you can get a full day-night qualification. So the idea is this is ready for any type of organization, both civil and military, and enable them to be better at their job and to preserve life and be more effective in the fight.
So literally we're entering a new age of warfare when we see small drones entering buildings, entering dangerous areas, and soldiers can be aware of a situation having such a small, well-built-up drone.
Yes, if I could comment on the screen, the big screen, you'll see that the bird is tracking that moving vehicle out there. You'll see the box kind of moving around. That tells me that the winds are actually working that bird hard, and it's maintaining a stable imagery by adjusting its flight pattern. Something I failed to mention, I'm terrible, is that not only are those cameras day and night, but they're actually on a tilt mechanism. So they can go from full look down and nadir to well above the horizon. There you go. So that allows me to have ability to use it in many modes. One of those things he can do is drive this thing, fly in, but he can also nudge it, swing around anytime on a target. He can pick a target and actually just lock on it, and they just pushes left or right, and it'll maintain that same standoff, that same imagery, and just a full 360 image.
That's crazy. Now I see the screen. I see so much information: the battery, the range, the height. That's so much information.
Yeah, it is. It's everything you need to have. You monitor the power. It says I've got 11 minutes in the top corner. That's 11 minutes of estimated time remaining for operation. If you go to low power, it'll tell you, it'll warn you. You might decide to keep it in the fight though. And at some point it can go critical and it'll tell you, I'm coming down. It'll retain enough power and it'll land itself. And you have enough power to maintain comms to go and find that.
Speaking about buttons, which is actually the screen, since we are in Lithuania, we have so much rain. Have you ever tested whether the screen is wet? Does it affect the touch buttons?
Well, yes, even yesterday we did that. That control station with the manual inputs you see on the left and right are actually built around a mini ToughPad, a Panasonic. We love those guys. So that is a mil-spec certified system, and you know it's a real trooper. Great performance. Here he's got the sniper right over him. I think he's getting set to bring it down. And what he does, he'll just tell it to come in, and he'll tell it to hit land, and it'll land at 1 meter per second. It'll touch the ground, it'll sense the deceleration, it'll shut itself off.
So it's pretty easy to catch it. And wow, that was a very soft landing.
There you go. That's a snipe, folks. I hope that is exciting for you, as it was for us. And if with my, we'll do is he'll post-flight, all he does is inspects that there's no damage, which are just physical, and that the props are not nicked. The only part he has on this as an operator to exchange is props, which just screw on, pin on, counterclockwise. They're gray and black. They only go on one direction, so kind of Joe-proof. It fits back in the case, and it's prepared for the next mission.
Right. Easy to fit to the pocket and good to go again.
Yes, sir. Now, post-mission, he can go in there and pull those files, and pull those videos, and he can port them out to a device for PED, or for mission information. One of the last thing is there's a instant replay button on there called DVR on the screen. You see it anytime during flight, he taps that and it replays the last 20 seconds. He said, what did I just see? And so then you can pause at any time there so you can get the information you need for your team.
So if you miss something by accident, there is a great chance just to check it back and see what kind of vehicles passed and so on and so forth, all right?
Hey, so Raven's been up there providing top cover for us the whole time. We're going to switch back to that, and I'm going to ask my team to set it up, bring it back in for landing. He is right now about 2.2 kilometers away at 259 degrees from us. He's going to set it up to land into the wind, because that's always a smart thing to do. And when he gets into a position, he will essentially put it into what's called auto land. And it'll go to zero prop, the tail will go to full up, and he can actually steer it to the ground all the way. And if he doesn't like it, he can just power right through it and go out. This can actually do a totally autonomous landing, so I can do a emergency recovery back to my home station, even if I've lost comms and had to break station.
There's a GPS. Oh, here we go. We've seen just landed.
Yes, a big accident. Actually, Raven is meant to land to the ground, and the wings are meant to pop off like that, and often the gimbal will pop off. He just knocked it off. And he's pulling the battery out right now, but usually the post-flight is just function check. Everything looks good. You can put another battery back in it and relaunch it on mission.
So it's not broken. This has to be like this, and that's a great landing.
Yes, sir. So I appreciate everybody's attention. I hope that that was enlightening to you. I invite you to, at the end of the day, we're going to demonstrate our all-environment systems, Puma and Wasp, and I think we have some good rain that you've scheduled, so we can demonstrate those as well as part of our family of systems.
All right, thank you so much, Dave, for the great presentation. And for more information, please come inside to the Aeroviro booth. If you have more questions, please ask them. All right.